All right, from MetsMemorizedOnline.com, New York Mets Offseason Outlook Part 1. Now, we're going to talk a lot about Met prospects in this video, so please bear with me. And, of course, please hit that subscribe button to find out what is said in this article. Heading into the 2023-24 offseason, Mets find themselves in a unique situation. They currently have 4 All-Star caliber players slated to play every day for them. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, and Jeff McNeil. They also have 4 inexperienced Major League ready players who have all recently graduated from being the top 100 prospects. Francisco Alvarez, Brett Baty, Ronnie Mauricio, and Mark Vientos. Lastly, they have 3 top 50 prospects who are all expected to make their MLB debuts at some point during the 2024 season. Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna, and Jett Williams. This unique situation makes constructing the 24 roster a bit complicated. On one hand, you want to provide your young players with every opportunity, and on the other hand, developmental trajectories are never linear, and ensuring you have ample support already on the roster is tantamount. Not only is it crucial for staying competitive through bouts of struggles, swatches of injury, but it's also important from a team building perspective to have a competitive roster and that next man up mentality. For the first time during Steve Cohen's tenure, the Mets may not be a playoff contender next season. With a few large decisions looming, the long-term direction of the franchise seems very clear. Yet the 24 season is likely to be one of transition. The Mets have a handful of young position players already on the roster, and a few more who will be ready at some point during the season. They're probably hoping that while they might look worse on paper to start the season, by mid-season or later, they will look more like the Orioles or Reds rather than the Pirates or the Nationals. The other elephant in the room is Shohei Ohtani, and the Mets' whole offseason strategy may hinge on his decision. Whether he decides to play for the Mets may play into the decision to push harder in free agency. Yet as things stand right now, it doesn't look like the Mets will make any large splashes in free agency this offseason. They may instead decide to go bargain shopping, looking for potential turnarounds and proven players who can provide above replacement level production until more of their young players are major league ready. According to the article, they wanted to break down what their 26-man roster looks like going into the offseason to see where they could potentially look to add in free agency, as well as into which prospects could impact the 24 season at different positions. Okay. At the catching position, Alvarez and Omar Narvaez. Infield, Pete Alonso, Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Baty, Francisco Lindor, Mark Vientos, and Zach Short. Outfielder, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, Starlin Marte, DJ Stewart. Starting pitching, Kodai Senga, Jose Quintana, Tyler McGill, Drew Smith, Josh Walker, Grant Hardwick, Reed Garrett, and Sean Reed Foley. As things stand immediately following the non-tender deadline, the Mets have 28 players on their 40-man roster, with a low possibility of Luis Angel Acuna or Alex Ramirez breaking camp with the team. They're currently looking at a long and difficult offseason. To say the least, trimming a whole third of a roster within a single month or so is more akin to fantasy sports than professional sports. Yet as we have seen, Steve Cohen is willing to do things a little differently. The team is not yet very good, regardless of the amount of young talent. Overall, this roster should probably win somewhere between 70 and 75 games. So we know that they won 75 games last year, which is 2023. The outfield, bullpen, and starters are all close to the bottom of the MLB, and the team could use some added versatility. With David Stearns in tow, he has been 100% powered to strip down and build up as only he sees fit. Luckily, David Stearns is one of the best in the business, especially when it comes to quick turnarounds and acquiring undervalued assets. Now here we go with the minors. Prospect-wise, the organization is that Drew Gilbert and Luis Angel Acuna will be playing up the middle and leading off games in Syracuse to begin the season. It's hard to know exactly when they will be in Queens, when they will be Queens-bound, as they are both still developing and fine-tuning their skills. It is reasonably safe to say that at some point this season, they will be in Queens. Whether that happens in May or September is hard to predict. The Syracuse rotation will feature Mike Vasil and Dominic Hamill. with Vassell having an outside chance of cracking the Mets' rotation in spring training, albeit unlikely. The question is whether Christian Scott, the Mets' newly ranked #1 pitching prospect by Baseball America, will be part of the Syracuse rotation as well. Following a downright dominant season which saw Scott cement himself as a borderline top 100 prospect, Scott may start the season in Binghamton as he's barely amassed 100 innings above low A ball. That being said, the 62 innings in which he did pitch in Binghamton were elite. He pitched to a 2.47 ERA line. You don't need to know the rest of it. The Syracuse bullpen will also be one to watch with the likes of Bryce Montes de Oca, Eric Orze, and left-handed Nate Lavender repeating the level. A slew of newcomers will join them as they start the season in AAA. Headlined by Paul Gervasi, who took the Mets system by storm and dominated both high plus and AA to the tune of 2.05 ERA. Gervasi has nasty stuff, and my bet is we will see him in Citi Field sooner rather than later. The other future bullpen arms in AAA are Trey McLaughlin, who's outstanding in AA and posts a swing strike rate of 17%. Dylan T-Break and Brendan Hardy. In Binghamton, Mets will have another handful of future bullpen pieces that can all be potentially move fast and make the majors by April 2025 at the latest. Those names include Ramon Gomez, Eli Aniki, Jeffrey Colon, and Saul Garcia. This is the largest crop of upper-level bullpen arms the Mets have compiled possibly ever, and is an exciting, underrated part of a burgeoning farm system. The Mets will have a few more known names on their AAA roster worth mentioning, barring losing them in the Rule 5 draft. These include the recently acquired Jeremiah Jackson and Justin Jarvis, as well as Matt Ruddick, Brandon McIlwain, and Luke Ritter. These players are most likely depth major league pieces at best, and some may never even make it that far. The AA team will also have some noteworthy names like prospect Jet Williams, who will continue refining his game while playing second, short, and center field. If he can continue his top-flight performance in all aspects of the game, he could be in the big leagues before too long. Ken Parada, Ryan Clifford, Blake Tidwell, Tyler Stewart, Coleman Crowe, all of the Mets' top 20 prospect list, and will all be integral parts of the Rumble Ponies team to start the season. Now, to finish this article. With an immense crop of young talent knocking on the doors, it's hard to imagine the Mets acquiring any of the headline players available this offseason. Guys like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and Juan Soto will be available to differing extents. Premium players command a premium, and the Mets are still in the midst of a farm restock. When the Mets are on the precipice of perennial contention and can be flexible with their roster, it's a time to make these moves. What the Mets do need to do is to fill out their roster with a blend of high upside players who require coaching and development yet will only need short-term commitment. The kind of commitment that if it doesn't work out, will not prevent players like Acuna, Gilbert, and Jet Williams from receiving at-bats at the major league level. Additionally, the Mets need a few reliable players, the kind of players who can play every day, who are assets in the clubhouse and make the manager's job easier. The kind of guy who, if pressed into full-time duty, can be an average big leaguer yet willing to succeed their starting spot if a younger, more talented player does arrive. In the following parts of the series, we'll go through different things here, but let me know what you think about this video. It's a very fascinating kind of look at the Mets in a more in-depth way, not only at the big league level, but also in the farm level too. And that's what this channel is all about. So please hit that subscribe button if this is the kind of stuff you want to learn about. So I'm learning about it too, so we're all learning this stuff all together. So we're all in this together as Met fans, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.